or disease. Injuries such as gunshot wound to the head, stab wound to the chest, or blunt force trauma due to motor vehicle accident. Disease such as heart disease, cancer, or stroke. The manner of death is classified into five categories. Homicide, one person killed by another, such as in this case, Trayvon Martin was killed by another person. Suicide, one killed him or herself. Accident, such as motor vehicle accident, drowning. Natural, such as heart disease or stroke. If we do not have enough evidence to determine the manner of death, we call undetermined. Autopsy includes the identification of human body, external and internal examinations to record the disease, injury, and other evidence, plus toxicology test.
Dr. Bao, if we could, approximately how many autopsies have you performed in your career, sir?
So far, I have done more than 3,000 autopsies, in which about 150 to 200 homicides.
Okay.
I did about 20 court testimonies or depositions. In the last 5 years, I have done about 300 to 700 cases a year.
Okay. And you, as you stated, you previously testified in Florida as an expert, is that correct?
Yes, both
this time I tended the witness.
Texas and Florida.
This time I tended the witness as an expert in forensic pathology.
You may so testify.
I don't have any voir dire.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Ballard, we can move into what you did in this particular case, that you perform an autopsy on a person later identified to you as Trayvon Martin under your medical examiner number 12-24-043.
Yes.
And where was the autopsy performed, Dr. Ballard?
Where? Or
Yes,
when?
sir.
Yeah, we did autopsy on February 27th, 2012. I started autopsy at 10:30 p.m. After autopsy, I typed autopsy report, start from 4:06 p.m. I finished my autopsy report at 5:10 p.m. same day.
And was that done at the medical examiner's office in Volusia County?
Yes, in Daytona Beach.
Did you determine the cause of death, sir?
Yes.
And what was the cause of death?
The cause of death is gunshot wound of chest.
And what was the manner of death, sir?
The manner of death is homicide, meaning he was killed by another person.
If you could, tell us what Trayvon Martin's height and weight was, sir. What was his height?
I would like to present the jury how I did autopsy from the
Okay,
morning.
yeah, please.
Trayvon Martin came to my office as unidentified human body. He was not identified at the time. All we know, he was a black boy. He was shot. He's dead. There is no name, no age. The first in the morning, we did an X-ray, try to locate the bullets or fragments of bullet. We found out he had some fragments at the lower chest. His body was sealed in a plastic bag with number 0000517. After we look at X-ray, so we opened the bag. We saw a black boy, 71, another T-shirt. Again, there was blood, a defect, and a suit, S-O-O-T, suit. After we removed the clothes, we saw a defect on his left lower chest, 3/8 inch diameter, round, with suit, S-O-O-T, with ring aberration round wound with stiffening, also called powder tattooing. After we removed the skin, there was defect between left anterior number 5 and number 6 ribs. So the bullet went through directly from anterior to posterior through anterior pericardial sac, which is the fibrous tissue around the heart, through right ventricle of the heart, anterior right ventricle of the heart, through posterior right ventricle of the heart, through posterior pericardial sac. At that point, the bullet separated. The lead core of the bullet was recovered in the pericardial sac behind right ventricle. The 2 fragments of the jacket went right through his right lower lobe of the lung. We have 3 lobes on the right, 2 lobes on the right. The bullet went through the right lower lobe of the lung. The 2 fragments was recovered in the right pleural cavity. At that point, Trayvon Martin, I believe, was still alive. His heart was still beating. Every time his heart was beating, some of the blood will go from right ventricle to the pulmonary artery to the lung and supply his brain. I believe it is my opinion that he was still alive, he was still in pain, he was still in suffering.
Objection, Your Honor. That's not a relevant issue at this time.
It's
It's
relevant.
simply the emotional appeal.
Just a second, I'm sorry, your objection is relevance? Okay,
Inspector.
overruled.
He's in suffering, he's in pain.
Well, then I would object to speculation then.
No, it's
And
my
it's
opinion,
not-
not a
Wait.
speculation.
And it's
When
not,
there's an objection, I have to rule on it. Okay, so please, just wait. If counsel, please approach.
sure.
So if you'll just wait a moment. The objection is sustained. You may proceed.
Dr. Val, I'm gonna ask you questions and just answer my questions if you could, okay?
Okay.
Let's go back to, you mentioned the autopsy. You determined Trayvon Martin's height and weight. Did you say he was 5'11" and 158 pounds? Is that correct?
Yes, in my autopsy report is 71 inches, which is 5 feet and 11 inches.
Okay. And when you say he's 5'11" or 71 inches, is there actually a measurement? Is the body put on a table and there's
Yeah.
actually something that measures it?
It's a length. We measure the body in length because the dead man cannot stand. It's
Okay.
not height.
Okay, so in other words, a body after the person dies does not grow or anything, or does not shrink, it just stays the same?
Yes,
Okay. Now, did you determine his age as being 17 years old, sir?
one day after the autopsy, he was identified by his father. At that point, February 28th, 2012.
And so
He
he was
was
17
identified.
years old?
Yes,
Okay. And was his date of birth that you determined was February the 5th of 1995?
yes, February 5th, 1995.
Okay. Dr. Val, I'm going to show you some photographs, and before I get to this, you briefly mentioned, does your office have a medical examiner or investigator go out to the actual scene where the shooting is?
Yes,
Okay, and did one go in this case?
yes,
Okay. And does the investigator make sure that the body is sealed in a bag that we're going to show photographs of?
yes,
Okay. And when you perform the autopsy, do you have assistants helping you? Specifically in this case, 2 assistants?
I have 2 assistants.
Okay. And in terms of the autopsy that you're going to talk about, the assistants work under your supervision and they're all in the same area as you?
Yes,
Okay. And are photographs taken to document the relevant evidence that you will be talking to the jury about?
yes,
Okay. All right, let's go, if we could, Dr. Val, I'm going to show you State's Exhibit 81. Do you recognize that photograph, sir?
yes.
And what is that a photograph of, sir?
Can I have something to point to?
Oh, I apologize,
Jury.
we need a pointer. Thank you, Mr. Guy. It's a little button right here. May I approach the witness, Your Honor? Right here.
This is a photo
No,
of,
I'm sorry to interrupt. May I have the physical exhibit so that I can follow along with what's coming? Are these all in evidence already?
I apologize.
Are all
The
these-
photos, are they?
Yeah, they're in evidence.
Yes, and so that there may
They're,
be,
they're right there if you would like to look through them or keep them at your desk as long as the clerk gets them back.
as the court's aware, we tried to expedite things by
I don't mean
Pre-marking.
to speak, if you need those,